Today, we'll delve into a chilling story that happened not so long ago in Florida. The investigation into 33-year-old Joleen Cummings' disappearance surprised even experienced detectives. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel so as not to miss new releases. Joleen Cummings lived in Fernandina Beach. She was a mother of 3, going through a divorce from her husband, Jason. Joleen and her children lived in this house in Fernandina Beach, while Jason moved to one of the neighboring cities and picked up the children on weekends. Joleen worked as a hairdresser at Tangle's Hair Salon. On Saturday, May 12, 2018, she was at work until 5 p.m. The next day, the U.S. celebrated Mother's Day. Moreover, it was Joleen's 34th birthday. Her 3 children had been with their father the previous days. Jason and Joleen agreed that they would meet on Sunday in the town of Hilliard, in the parking lot of the Winn-Dixie supermarket, where Joleen was supposed to pick up the children. As promised, Jason brought the children, but Joleen never arrived. All attempts to contact her by phone were unsuccessful. Joleen's mother, Ann Johnson, who wanted to congratulate her daughter on her birthday, could not reach her either. All calls went straight to voicemail. Soon after, she got a call from Jason, who was trying to find out why Joleen didn't come for the children. After learning that her daughter did not take the children, and started worrying because such behavior was not typical of her daughter. On Monday, May 14, having failed to contact her daughter, Ann Johnson turned to the police with a missing person report. The police immediately launched an investigation. The sheriff's office issued a poster with Joleen's photo and put an APB out on her car, a 2006 Ford Expedition. Ann Johnson appealed to the public to help find her daughter. Joleen's disappearance was a heavy blow for Ann, and she begged anyone who had seen or heard anything to report it. On the same day, police and volunteers searched the forest area near Joleen's house, but it did not yield results. The salon where the missing woman worked was closed on Sunday and Monday. The police learned that Joleen was last seen on Saturday, May 12, when leaving work. The salon's owner told the sheriff that Joleen and Jennifer, the second hairdresser, were supposed to work together that day. During a phone call, Jennifer informed her boss that she and Joleen closed the hair salon at 5 p.m., after which they each got into their own cars and drove away. The police established that the last time Joleen used her phone was for an outgoing call while she was still at work on May 12. Nassau County Sheriff Bill Leeper urged everyone who was a customer of the Tangle Salon or was in that area on May 12 to contact the police. Relatives and friends of Joleen didn't believe that she was hiding of her own free will. The owner of the hair salon, where Joleen worked for 6 years, did not think so either. It was hard for them to imagine that she could abandon her children. The police wanted to find at least one clue, so they examined Joleen's personal life. They took a closer look at Jason. After all, spouses often become enemies during the divorce and child custody processes. At the same time, detectives discovered that 5 days before Joleen's disappearance, a woman who lived next door to her called the police, reporting a loud quarrel. As it turned out, Joleen was fighting with her ex-boyfriend, Jason G., and her children were present during the quarrel. He asked Joleen to let him stay with her for a while, but she said no. Enraged, he started destroying everything he saw. The reason for her refusal was that the police were searching for Jason for violating the terms of his parole. By the time the police arrived, the man had managed to escape, or at least they thought so. Now, after Joleen vanished, the police considered Jason G. to be a person of interest in her disappearance. The second day of the investigation, May 15, 2018, was eventful. While searching for possible leads, the police found Jason G. in Joleen's house. He had been hiding there since the day Joleen's neighbor reported the loud quarrel to the police. He was arrested and taken to the police station. During a conversation with detectives, the man said he had nothing to do with Joleen's disappearance. At the same time, the police discovered the first crucial clue. They found Joleen Cummings's SUV parked outside a Home Depot hardware store less than 3 miles from her place of work. The car was not damaged, and there were no signs of a struggle. In addition, May 15 was the first working day after 2 days off at the salon where Joleen worked. At 10 a.m., the police came to talk to Jennifer Sibbert, an employee who was the last one to see Joleen and who allegedly closed the salon with her before the weekend. But it turned out that Jennifer did not come to work, telling her boss she had some urgent matter in another city. CCTV footage helped shed light on Joleen's disappearance. The footage captured the moment of Joleen's car driving into the parking lot of a hardware store, where the police subsequently found it. Let me remind you that Jennifer Sibbert said that she and Joleen closed the salon at 5 p.m. on May 12, and this entry was made at 1:17 a.m. on May 13, so 8 hours and 17 minutes had passed since the salon closed. Sheriff Bill Leeper said the following at a press conference: "We found CCTV footage that showed Joleen's car parking around 1:17 a.m. on Sunday. The video shows the driver sitting there for a few minutes and then getting out. We expected to see Joleen exit the car, but who do you think we saw? The hairdresser from Tangles, the one who was supposedly the last person to see Joleen. Her name is Jennifer Sibbert." Leaving Joleen's car, Jennifer went to the gas station across the street. The footage from the gas station shows her going inside. While there, Jennifer bought a bottle of water and asked an employee to call her a taxi, which later took her to the salon where she worked. The gas station employee told the police that the woman seemed annoyed. The worker also noticed that Jennifer had abrasions on her face, which looked fresh. Thus, Jennifer Sibbert became the main suspect in this case, and the police started searching for her. Checking the address she used when applying for the job, detectives found out that this address was fake. Sibbert tried to hide, but she couldn't get far. On May 16, 50 miles from the salon, patrol officers noticed a black Kia Soul belonging to Jennifer parked in a recreation area between two trucks. Approaching the car, the officers saw Jennifer sleeping inside. They arrested her and initially charged her with stealing Joleen Cummings's car. When she was taken to the police station, detectives immediately noticed the abrasions on her hands and face and asked her to explain their origin. Jennifer replied that she had been bitten by bedbugs. The police discovered she had no permanent place of residence. The woman mostly slept in her car and used a shower at a fitness center. Soon after her arrest, the investigators discovered something unexpected. As it turned out, Jennifer Sibbert wasn't her real name. Her real name was Kimberly Kessler, born in 1968, and she was reported missing in 2012 in Pennsylvania. Jennifer Marie Sibbert was actually a 13-year-old girl who died in a car accident in Germany in 1987 and was buried in Butler Cemetery, Pennsylvania. Seated on a couch wearing an orange jumpsuit, Kimberly Kessler casually revealed her real identity 48 hours later in a videotaped interview. "When you run my fingerprints through, they come up as Kimberly Lee Kessler. I am 50 years old, and I've been running for over 25 years, she said. The deeper the police delved into this case, the more details they found about Kimberly Kessler. As it turned out, Kimberly started using other people's names in 1996. She was living in Pennsylvania at the time. Since then, Kessler has used at least 18 identities and lived in 33 cities in 14 states. You can see the list of her names on the screen. I think you've noticed that many of them are similar. At the same time, Kessler took at least half of these names from gravestones and cemeteries, and then acquired fake documents for these names. Jennifer Sibbert was one of them. Her mother, Connie Kessler, contacted the police and reported her daughter missing in 2012. However, Connie said she had not heard anything about Kimberly since 2004. It's safe to say the family relationships were not that good if the mother reported her daughter's disappearance only 8 years later. After receiving the report, the Pennsylvania police launched an investigation and concluded that Kimberly Kessler was okay. They decided she just wanted to stay missing. It remains unclear why the police made such a conclusion and whether there was any investigation after all. As we now know, Kessler lived under a fake name and with forged documents. If the police had found her, they would probably have revealed that she had stolen someone else's identity. The questions arise: who or what made Kessler flee? Why did she use so many names? Her mother, Connie Kessler, tried to explain it. According to the woman, her daughter went through many challenges, namely through an abusive relationship with a man. In 2004, Kimberly gave birth to a son named Evan. When the relationship with the child's father ended, he took Evan and did not allow Kimberly to see him. At some point, he moved to another state and told her their one-year-old son had died. Kimberly was trying to find out if this was true. She wanted to know where the man buried their son. Having received no answers to her questions, she started looking for Evan and tried to find out what happened to him. Connie Kessler believes that her daughter used deceased people's names to look for her son and hid her real name out of fear of Evan's father. As a reminder, this is Connie Kessler's version, which she voiced on one of the TV channels. When Tim Edwards, Evan's father and the person Connie blamed for Kimberly's problems, saw her statement, he told his version of events that happened many years ago. According to Tim, he was in a relationship with a woman named Melissa McKernan between 1997 and 1999. As we now know, this is one of the names Kessler used. In 1998, Melissa gave birth to their son, whom they named Evan. On the birth certificate, the woman indicated her name as Christina Melissa Brooke, another identity of Kimberly Kessler. She then told Tim she was using other people's names so that her family, including her mother, could not find her. Shortly after Evan was born, the couple broke up. Evan stayed with Melissa, who did not allow Tim to see him. As Tim explained, in 1999, when Evan was about 15 months old, social services took him away from Melissa. Tim does not know why this happened. However, according to rumors, Melissa quarreled with a neighbor who reported her as an unfit parent. The day after the call, Child Services picked up Evan from kindergarten. Trying to get her son back, Melissa went to a meeting with the Child Services representatives and took a gun with her. She was arrested but later released. Tim never saw Melissa again because she ran away from the city after that. The man received sole custody of his son. According to Tim, he never told her that Evan was dead. After all, he never saw Melissa or heard anything about her after she ran away. When Joleen disappeared, Evan was 20 years old, and he had never seen a photo of his biological mother until FBI officers came to their house in 2018, seeking answers about Kimberly Kessler's past. One of these stories has several inconsistencies. Tim Edwards has a birth certificate stating that Evan was born in 1998. In her interview, Connie Kessler said Kimberly gave birth to Evan in 2004. Thus, one can conclude that Connie Kessler was not fully aware of her daughter's life, and her statement about Tim hiding Evan from his mother may not be accurate. Consequently, Connie's suggestion that her daughter used the identities of dead people to find her son and to remain unnoticed by his father is also hard to believe. As for Kimberly, she could not tell the detectives anything intelligible about why she needed to use so many names. Now, let's go back to the Joleen Cummings case. After discovering that Kimberly Kessler lived under fake names, the police charged her with forgery. They found a storage unit that Kessler rented. Among other things, they found 4 wigs, a bag with 2 cut-off hair tails, and 3 mobile phones. But the most crucial evidence was Joleen Cummings's DNA found on Kessler's sock and shoe. While searching her car, the police found scissors with Joleen's DNA on them. Here, one should pay attention to these blue plastic containers, they will be important in the future. The search history on the phone seized from Kessler was very revealing. It indicated that what happened to Joleen Cummings was not an accident because Kessler had been preparing for it. I remind you that Joleen disappeared on May 12. Almost 2 weeks earlier, on April 30, 2018, at 3:36 a.m., Kessler searched the following query: Man with Hunting Humans DVD charged with murder after co-worker's remains found in yard. Then, she searched, co-worker guilty of murder, missing person, body not found. On May 8, at 1:37 a.m., she searched, injecting advice how to use a tourniquet. On the same day, at 7:13 a.m., she searched, Murderpedia Victimpedia list of female murderers by country, Florida female murderers, and autopsy. At 6:33 p.m. that day, she searched, postmortem changes e-medicine. The owner of the hair salon drew the attention of the police to the fact that the plant in the pot inside the salon was not the same one that stood there before Joleen disappeared. This fact explains Kessler's following search queries on May 13, the day Joleen didn't pick up her kids. Kessler searched at 12:05 p.m. for indoor palm, and a minute later for variation palm tree. The police reviewed CCTV footage from a hypermarket a few hundred yards from the salon. Kessler arrived there on May 14 at 2:39 p.m. Half an hour later, she left the store with the plant, which eventually ended up in the Tangles hair salon. On May 15, at 6:13 p.m., Kessler searched, Joleen Cummings, I have vanished. On May 16, at 6:27 p.m., she searched, no body no crime. When forensic experts used luminol and ultraviolet light in the hair salon, they had no doubt something terrible had happened. The room glowed. On May 22, during a press conference, the sheriff said, we have gathered enough evidence that is being withheld in the interest of the investigation, and based on that evidence, unfortunately, we have concluded that Joleen Cummings is dead. Investigators discovered that Joleen told another employee at Tangles hair salon that their new hairdresser, Jennifer, was not who she seemed to be and was hiding something. This conversation occurred about a week before Joleen's disappearance. As some salon visitors later stated, the relationship between Joleen and Jennifer was tense. One person witnessed a quarrel between the two on May 9, 3 days before Joleen disappeared. On June 5, 2018, Tangles hair salon ceased its activities. Kessler's attorneys managed to get certain evidence withheld from the public. Nevertheless, the information released by the police provided enough details to understand what actually happened to Joleen Cummings. Let's now look at some of the CCTV footage taken on May 13, but first, to understand Kessler's movements, we need to take a closer look at the building where the salon was located and the area surrounding it. The salon had no surveillance cameras inside or outside, but there was a dumpster behind the building. Importantly, a surveillance camera captured the dumpster. Kessler appeared at this dumpster at least 4 times. In the first footage, taken shortly after midnight on May 13, you can see Kessler doing something next to the dumpster. In footage taken at 8:08 a.m., she came to throw out a white garbage bag. Judging by the way she lifted it, the bag was quite heavy. She threw out another white bag 14 minutes later. In footage taken an hour before midnight, Kessler lifted a waste container to throw out its contents, and once again, it appeared to be heavy. The following footage from Walmart sheds light on what exactly Kessler threw into the dumpster. The video shows her making a purchase at the self-checkout. Her shopping list included garbage bags, cleaning agents, latex gloves, and, most importantly, an electric knife. This footage heavily influenced the police's next steps. Investigators found that the company responsible for garbage disposal in the area was transporting waste to a landfill in Georgia. In July 2018, nearly 200 people searched the landfill for a week. Soon after, the sheriff mentioned that they found several important clues but did not reveal them due to the ongoing investigation. Next to the dumpster where Kessler disposed of the white garbage bags, police found a piece of jewelry, women's shoes, and a blue plastic container. This container looked identical to the one found in Kessler's storage unit, which contained Joleen Cummings's DNA. Although Joleen's body was never found, the police had gathered enough evidence to arrest Kessler for taking Joleen's life. On January 17, 2019, Kessler appeared in court for the first time, pleading not guilty. The trial dragged on for several years due to doubts about Kessler's mental state. She went on a hunger strike, and at one point, her weight dropped to less than 88 pounds. Each of her court appearances ended in fits of rage. Before the court session in 2021, Kessler underwent compulsory treatment. In the end, she was found competent to stand trial. On December 9, 2021, the jury found Kimberly Kessler guilty, and on January 27, 2022, she was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. The prosecutor's office believes Kessler committed the crime because she feared Joleen would expose her lies. During a press conference, Sheriff Leeper said, "We're going to celebrate her new home for the rest of her life, which is going to be Florida State Prison." Tragically, Joleen Cummings's body or remains have never been found.